You know, winter was fun back then. The hockey games on Lake George were always competitive, but we had fun.
I spent many hours sitting on the shores of Lake George, relaxing, reading, and enjoying the beauty of the downtown lake.
We used to spend every Sunday at Lake George, paddle boating.
For every Minnesotan, spending time at the lake is a way of life. Whether it's sitting on the shores with family and friends or catching that elusive walleye, lakes are a major part of our lives. But lakes are often thought of as going up north or heading to the cabin. However, even in urban settings like St. Cloud, a small historic lake has so much to offer.
St. Cloud is the core city for the region, and Lake George in the downtown area is the core of that city. And it's extremely important for economic development, and every city needs a centerpiece and a showpiece. And, you know, we have that at Lake George. We just want to make sure that it can be all that it can be.
The history of Lake George is vast. Once a much larger lake, it served as the main water source for early settlers of St. Cloud. Through decades of development and population growth, Lake George was continually filled to meet the rapidly expanding downtown and south side developments. But through these changes, one constant remained. Lake George was the spot for fun, socializing, and community events. Today, Lake George is still a vital part of downtown St. Cloud landscape. It's the main focal point to thousands of residents and visitors as they drive Division Street through the city.
Lake George used to go up as far as St. Mary's Cathedral. It used to actually be probably about 1.5 miles long, a swamp and bog, and finally as fill came in and land was made more solid, buildings continued to move in on Lake George, and it became this 7-acre pond.
But after years of disregard and lack of funding, the services of Lake George have suffered. What was once a great destination has become an underutilized resource for the community. But all that is about to change as the City of St. Cloud and the St. Cloud Rotary Club are teaming up for an exciting multi-year Lake George revitalization project. Just imagine a downtown centerpiece that includes boardwalks, an aquatic center, fountains, an amphitheater, playground equipment, fishing piers, splash pads, a warming house, and the return of paddle boats to this pristine lake. Lake George is about to become the destination for St. Cloud.
The way most people in Minnesota enjoy water is when they have access to the water. And when you think of the number of young kids in our community who live in the land of 10,000 lakes and probably never had the opportunity to go fishing, this will create an opportunity for service groups, for neighborhood groups, for families to come down and give kids an opportunity to catch the first fish in their lifetime.
In 2000, the City of St. Cloud embarked on a 16-year plan that is going to change the landscape of downtown. Plans are already approved for Division Street to be reconstructed in 2009-2010, which will include erecting a new bridge that will create a granite centerpiece welcoming folks to downtown St. Cloud.
We want solid granite used on the exterior of the bridge and the arches as it goes through downtown St. Cloud. We want granite columns going up on the bridge. We want to recreate something that was really here back in 1937.
The Aquatic Center and building are in the pre-construction phase. This section of revitalization will include a shallow water play area, enclosed shelter, picnic areas, tanning areas, and decks for community events. Connecting the new Lake George to downtown will be critical in bringing this area of St. Cloud together. Besides the miles of walking paths that will encompass Lake George itself, a boardwalk will be constructed so residents will have an easy walk to St. Germain and other downtown locations.
Lake George is downtown, and we want to make sure that visually it's downtown from the lake, through the renovations around the lake, to downtown, through that bridge reconstruction. It'll be much more safer to get back and forth, but visually it'll be aesthetically much more connected.
Funding for the revitalization of Lake George will come from several sources. The City of St. Cloud will pay for 55% of the project. Matching grants will contribute another 30%, and the community will need to generate the final 15% to make this revitalization a reality. The St. Cloud Rotary Club, with its rich tradition of supporting parks and youth projects, has generously stepped forward to lead the fundraising efforts.
we've said all along that this is not a Rotary project. This is a community project where we want to pull in service clubs, business leaders, friends of Lake George, and neighbors, and everybody. We want to pull them into this project. We just want to be the catalyst to make sure that it's moving forward, that it stays in the timeline, and that it gets done, and that by the time it's done, that it's sustainable and it can be there for a long, long time.
Lake George has been an integral part of St. Cloud's rich history for many generations, and like all things that age over time, this important resource needs to be restored and improved to make it a grand destination for all to enjoy. The St. Cloud Rotary Club is proud to be a part of this project and hope we can count on you to help make this vision a reality.